Shri Ramachandra Parabrahmane Namaha. In the last few verses of Rama Gita, Sri Rama said about the self. The self is the witness of the intellect, and the reflection of the self, which is the jiva, falls on the intellect. The intellect is entirely different from the self, but the jiva is the same as the self. One has to know the difference between this intellect and the self and understand that difference and abide in the self itself. That's what Sri Rama said from the verses 36 to 41 of Sri Rama Gita. And now from this verse, that is the 42nd verse, Sri Rama says how to attain this knowledge and how to meditate on this. That Sri Rama very clearly explains in these few verses. Guru sakashada viveda vakyatah sanjada vidyanubhavo nirikshyatam swatmanamatmasthamubadivarjitam tyajeda shesham jadamatmagocharan. So to attain this knowledge, one must go to the Guru. The Guru, he must have this knowledge. He must have attained this knowledge of the self. So hearing from this, listening to his vakyas, and after that, that person should think about it, manana. Listening is shravana. At the first time, we will not understand anything. But when you do manana, think about it again and again in the mind. Hearing is shravana and thinking about it is manana. We will understand that the nature of the self is entirely different from the inanimate objects. That is, we have to think like this. Our three bodies, they have one nature. They have dualities, they have that finiteness, they have sukha dukkha, and all that we know about our three bodies. That is the gross body, subtle body, and the causal body. We know about it. But the self also, that Guru taught us about the self. So the nature of the self is entirely different from the nature of the body. And I am that self. So I am not that body. So like this, one have to think about it again and again and understand the nature of the self as, when we differentiate like this, we will understand the self as Prakasharubo hamajo hamadvayah asahrid vibhado hamadeva nirmalah Vishuddha Vijnana Ghano Niramayah Sampurna Anandamayo Hamakriyah. We will understand the nature of the self as explained in this verse. This verse, that is the verse 43 and 44, or for meditation, they are known as the meditation verses. We have to meditate on these verses. That is the nididhyasana. If you cannot do that nididhyasana, at least you can repeat it mechanically in our daily prayers. That will we will benefit from it a lot. Lord Sri Rama says, Prakasha Rupo, I am that Prakasha Rupa. I am that self-luminous person. After doing that manana, after discarding all the inanimate objects from the mind, we will understand that self as Prakasha Rupa, self-luminous, that luminous being. Luminous here does not mean that light, but it is by this all other things are known to us, that Prakasha. The prakasha of the Surya is the light, but that Surya itself is active because of this self. We will understand that. Aja, aham aja, I am unborn. Aham advaya, I am non-dual. Asakrit vibhada, that means I am ever shining. I am always shining, ever shining. Ativa, I am known only by the jnanis, and I am Ativa. I am that which excels in everything. Known only to the jnanis, known only by the jnana yoga. I am that nirmala, pure. Only then jnanis will know it. Pure, ever pure. Vishuddha vijnana ghana. I am that pure knowledge itself. I am that all-knower. This is what the Upanishads say. When you know this, you know everything. So I am that all-knower. Here I means it is not that ahankara or ego. I am telling about, Sri Rama is telling about that self. Niramaya, free from all diseases of the mind, free from all pains and miseries. Sampurna, complete, just all pervading, there is no part in it, complete. Anandamaya, ever blissful. Aham akriya, I am actionless. So all these are descriptions are given for that self by Sri Rama. A very beautiful verse to meditate, and if not, we can repeat it mechanically every day. सदैव मुक्तोऽहमचिन्त्य शक्तिमान् अतीन्द्रियज्ञानमविक्रियात्मकः अनन्तपारोऽहमहर्निशं हृदय विभावितोऽहं हृदि वेदवादिभिः. In this verse also, Sri Rama explains about the self. Sadaiva Muktaha, I am ever free, I am always free. Now I think now we think that we are bound by something, we have this body, and so we feel, sometimes we feel we are just caught up in this problem and we cannot come out of it. When will I get freedom? All this we imagine about ourselves now. But in reality, this self is ever free, always free. It is never bound at all. Aham achintya shaktiman. I have unimaginable powers. Power means it is that existence which gives power for all the beings in this world and beyond. I am that pure existence, omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent, always powerful, unimaginable power I have. Aham achintya shaktiman. You cannot think about that power. I am that powerful. Adindriya jnanam. I cannot be taught by the indriyas. I am beyond this indriyas. Indriyas cannot get me. I am beyond this indriyas. Adindriya jnanam. Avikriyatmagaha. I am not liable to change. I will never change because only we have part, and only when we are a combination, we change. But this is non-dual, all-pervading. Where will it change? I am not liable to change. Ananta, infinite. Aham, aharnisham budhai vibhavitoham hridi vedavadibhi. Which means the jnanis who know the Vedas, the wise people, they who know the Vedas, they think of me. They meditate on this self. The jnanis, they meditate on their self. And this self is not different from the self of the jnani. This self is not different from the self of Lord Sri Rama. This self is not different from the self of Hanumanji. So this self is all pervading. Then how can that self be different? So the jnanis who meditate on their self, they meditate on this self. They think about this self. The very beautiful verse. So Veda Bhadivi, they meditate, Hridi, they meditate in their heart about this self. They think about me day and night, not for some time. The jnanis, they think about me day and night. They bear me in their mind day and night because they always meditate on their self. And this self is not different from their self. As I said, it is not different from the self of Sri Rama also. So that's what we, very beautiful two verses for these are said as the meditative verses, and you can meditate on it, or if not, we can at least chant it, include it in our daily prayers mechanically. Yevam sadatmanamakhண்டிतात्मना vicharamanasya vishuddha bhavana हन्यादविद्यामचिरेण कारकै रसायनं यद्वदुपासितं रुजः. So this verse says a person must always, without break, akhandita, he must always think about the self like this. By again and again thinking like this and doing nididhyasana, that is contemplating on the self like this, then he will be freed of all the impurities. Then he will attain that correct understanding of the self. Now we have so many misunderstanding about the self. Just like what Sri Rama said in the last few verses, when we think that I am blissful, immediately I will think that how can I be blissful? I have so many worries. So these two verses, when we repeat it again and again, then we will understand the right meaning of the self. We will understand the self, and that will destroy our illusion and all its effects. Avidya, it will destroy our avidya, our ignorance, and karakahi and all its effects, which means it will relieve us from the rebirth and it will help us to remain peaceful in this world. Just like he gives another example, rasayanam yad ubhasitam rujaha. Rujaha means a person who has disease, and rasayana means a tonic, a medicine. Just like how a person who has disease, every day he drinks the tonic, and that will remove his disease completely. Just like that, every day if we meditate on these verses, that is akhandita, without break, if you meditate on these verses, then we will have the right understanding of the self, and that will cure all our avidya, relieve us from the avidya and its effects. How should we meditate? That also Lord Sri Rama says, विविक्त आसीन उपारदेन्द्रियः विनिर्जितात्मा विमलान्तराशयः विभावयेदेकमनन्यसाधनः विज्ञानदृक्केवल आत्मसंस्थितः. Vivikta asina, that is in a place of solitude, in a calm place. One should sit in an asana, any asana which is comfortable for us. Maybe sukhasana is, we all know about it, just like how we sit on the floor, folding both our legs for prayers and all. So just like that one, not only that, it is one of the asana. We have to sit in an asana in a calm place. Vinirjitatma vimalantarashayah, with a pure intention. pure state of mind, just to, I'm going to meditate on the self, with pure intention and with the pure mind, not thinking about so many things, and controlling the indriyas by controlling the mind. You have to withdraw the senses from the sense objects by controlling the mind. So just like that, sit in a calm place, in a perfect asana, in a comfortable asana, in a comfortable posture, and withdraw the senses from the sense objects by controlling the mind. When we sit for meditation like this, so many thoughts come to our mind. Our fears, our next program, our desires. Oh, it's taking too much time. I have to go to this work. All these silly thoughts will disturb our mind, but we should not care for it, ignore it. Again and again, bring the mind, control the senses by the mind. Again and again, we have to bring it back. And you do not need any other sadhana. Ananya sadhana. That is, we do not need any other sadhana for it. That is, some people, they feel that lighting a lamp is important for meditation, having some flowers is important for meditation, having the vigraha of the Bhagavan and lighting a lamp before it, incense sticks, all these are important for meditation. Some people have that notion. But what Sri Rama says in these words is, there is no need for any other sadhana or any other rituals. Just the object of meditation is this knowledge itself, not any other thing. Vijnanadrik kevala atma samsthidaha. Like this, a person should meditate on this self. One should meditate on the self. A person who is interested in jnana, he should meditate on the self. That's what Sri Rama says. विश्वं यदेदत् परमात्मदर्शनं विलापयेदात्मनि सर्वकारणे पूर्णश्चितानन्दमयोऽवतिष्ठते न वेदबाह्यं न च किञ्चिदान्तरम्. Lord Sri Rama says, like this, one should sit in meditation and one must see the self in this world. This is unity in diversity. That is the caption for Sanatana Dharma, unity in diversity. One must see the self in this world, in all these inanimate objects. In all the dualities, discard the dualities from the mind, and one must realize the self as all pervading. Paramatma Darshanam, Vishwam Yade Paramatma Darshanam. In this world, one must see this non-dual being. That means the whole universe dissolves in him at that time, because he is all that. Either I am all this self is all this, or the whole world exists in me. Either way is right. This self pervades everywhere. And it's same as thinking that the whole world is dissolved in me. And this world, this entire universe in me. So either way you can think. So here Sri Rama says, dissolving the whole world in that person. That is seeing the Atma Tatma, that self in this whole universe. And one must understand that this self is the cause, fundamental cause for all this. That is, the whole world, universe, this whole universe exists in that existence. And that existence is that self. The existence, say I am existing, my body is existing. Where do I exist? In that existence. That existence one has to realize as the self. One has to realize that existence. Then we will understand that this whole world, this universe is present in that existence. That is, which means the whole universe dissolves in that existence. That existence, that self, one has to realize. Purna Siddhanandamaya Vadishtate. He should always abide in that absolute. It is Purna. It doesn't have parts. It is Purna, complete. One must exist in that. At that time, na Veda Bhahyam naja kinjit antaram. At that time, one will not see something is outside him or something is inside him, nothing. Just all pervading. We will not feel that difference. We will not feel that finite thing in us. Only when we have something finite, we can say that this is outside it and this is inside it. If everything is infinite, what is there? Nothing is there. So nothing is inside or nothing is outside. He does not know that something is outside him or something is inside him. There are 3 stages of meditations explained in the Yoga Shastra. The first is meditation is, I think it's not that apt word to use for the Sanskrit word dhyana or samadhi. But anyway, we have to give a word in English so that meditation can be used. In the first stage of dhyana, what happens is we will feel that I am the meditator and I have a meditating object. Here, the object of meditation is the knowledge of the self itself. So that is the object of meditation. And that is act of meditation. That I am meditating act, I am doing meditation, that thought. So there will be difference. The meditator, the meditating object, and the act of meditation. This difference will be there, and at this stage, a lot of thoughts will come and disturb us. It will just drag us. Many thoughts will come and disturb us. But with lot of effort, we have to cross over this stage. If we cross over this stage, then the next 2 stages are comparatively, I won't say it is easy, comparatively easier than this. So one has to pass this stage of pure difference, and lot of thoughts will disturb us. If you go to the next stage, that is the Savikalpa Samadhi, then we will understand that no thoughts will disturb us. We will be purely doing that meditation, but still we have that very trace of difference between the meditator, the object of meditation, and that act of meditation. Yeah, a trace of difference we will realize. But when we go to the Nirvikalpa Samadhi, this difference, this line will not be there. We will not feel that I am meditating or I am this person or I am meditating on this self or on this vigraha of Bhagavan. Nothing we will realize. There will be no difference at all. That boundaries itself will dissolve. That is explained here by Sri Rama. The person who meditates on the self as this, he will not feel any difference between, he will not, that's what he says as, he does not know the things outside or inside. That trace of that boundary line will be also be dissolved, because we will completely enter, our consciousness will completely enter into that conscious of that existence, all pervading, infinite. This is only shift in consciousness. Now we are conscious about the world, about conscious about our body. But when we meditate, there will be shift in consciousness automatically, and we will dissolve, merge with this universal consciousness, or you can say it as Brahman, or you can say it as Atma, or you can say it as a self, whatever be, we will dissolve in that self. That's what Lord Sri Rama explains in this verse. And from the next verse, he explains about the worship of Omkara. That I will continue in my next video. And for now, I take a break. Om Shri Ramachandra Parabrahmane Namaha.